opportunity to study what your opponent did.
Absolutely. So we are here, Infernal Shrines, for game number 2. Let's see if we can get through this one without a bot. Revelo betting is up and running. Don't forget exclamation mark bet A for James Baker, bet B for Jaywalkers. Right, let's see. I'm currently hanging on wait for players. That's discouraging. Oh, there we go. I was worried for a second there. Let's see if I do go for that early Kerrigan ban. No, they're looking at the Tyrael ban once again. Interesting. I wonder if they know something about that team's Tyrael. Oh, no,
yeah, I'm wondering as well. But no, they are
not the most common ban in the world.
Yeah. But I think Atanas could get to the point where he's banned a little bit more, because he is, I think, still, at least in a lot of the public games, rising in popularity. And a lot of players are still trying to figure out how to best play him. And if you have an Atanas that knows exactly which target he can switch without dying in the opponent's team, it gets really, really scary.
100%. Let's see if I do go. So the fact they banned the Tyrael and banned the Diablo, actually, so that's a couple of tanks banned already. Will we see an early tank pick? Dehaka, okay. Global presence, good at clearing shrines, good solo laner. Solid hero, I like Dehaka, I'm a fan. Not normally a first pick, but I'm a fan of him.
And it leaves a lot of the decisions for the team open, because Dehaka, he might not be the best solo tank, but in most cases you don't want to run solo tank anyways. And
so Tyker's lock-in's good, because if you're going to Dehaka, 90% of the time you're not solo tank Dehaka. You have something else with it. So the Tykers are very good at early pickup, and the ETC there. ETC always dangerous with that mosh or with that stage dive. This is a good stage dive map as well, actually.
Yeah. And I think basically at every shrine location there's something to rush Stalker in with for Dehaka, so he can soak up until the last second, and he is one of the globals who can go to his target really, really fast. If you compare him to Falstad, he has a longer time, because he has to actually travel over the map, while Dehaka basically burrows and gets out of the ground at another point. It's the same with Brightwing, who just teleports onto a target.
100%. It is a very quick and impactful global there. The Mouth pickup and the Kel'Thas. I'm a big fan of Mouth. As I've already said, I say in all my casts, he is my favourite support for sure.
Yeah. And we as we were talking about the Sylvanas being a little bit picked too early, maybe for the Jaywalkers, we see that this time they decide to go with the Tigers instead of Sylvanas, and still securing their ETC. And I think the ETC played rather well in the last game. I can't remember any big mistakes.
But he did make some. He had a few feeds in the early game, I think, but otherwise he seemed to play fairly solid. But you're going to get some deaths if you're playing that aggressive. I am surprised that we've gone this far through a draft without that Sylvanas. She's quite strong here. If you get that Punisher, a Punisher push with a Sylvanas is really strong.
Yeah, I think both teams are basically trying to feel each other out and see who gets the early game. Because if you don't get the early game, as we saw on Infernal Shrines, exactly. So both teams are trying to find a slot for Sylvanas, but are trying to secure the early game first, because once your opponent picks Sylvanas, and you can just draft against Sylvanas and going heavy engage, going with heavy shrine control, and try to negate one of the opponent's heroes, basically.
Absolutely, 100%. So I expect they don't really need to lock in a healer now, but I prefer to lock him in and leave that last pick for an assassin or a specialist, something to counter the opposing team. So I would expect to see that support pick up here, probably perhaps with another frontliner. And they go for the Uther Kerrigan. Okay, Divine Shield that Kerrigan, and she is going to wreck your back line.
Yeah. And now they're in a really good position to take Sylvanas themselves as their last pick, while bringing James back in a situation where they have to decide if they want to pick Sylvanas away, even though their team really can't profit at the moment from...
Yeah, if they take Sylvanas away, their only real source of damage, Kalfas, which is not amazing.
Yeah, and you have two really squishy targets already in your team, with Malf and Kalthas both having basically no mobility, so they're both easy targets for ETCs, Kerrigans, and and Uther stun follow-up. So if you take Sylvanas here, she can't really help both of them. She is not the easiest target to kill because of her Haunting Wave, but she also can't help Kalthas or Malfurion if they get dived. And then you maybe have to pick another tank because you only have Dehaka. So a lot of hard decisions for them, I would say.
Going for the Fausted Moradin. Okay, Fausted, fallback, disengage. Moradin nice and tanky. Are they going to go Sylvanas here and have both Sylvanas and Kerrigan on Infernal Shrines? That's a hell of a combo. Not only do you have the superior shrine control, but you have that superior push with that Punisher as well. The only downside for him is Uther is not a great support at the moment. He can't hang in fights for that long due to he doesn't have enough mana for the cost of his spells. Basically, he burns through that mana very quickly. Whereas you compare it to the Malfurion. Malfurion is a walking healing well and can heal for days.
Yes, exactly. And another big point here is that Uther's cooldowns are really, really high. I think, for example, his Holy Light has something like 13 seconds cooldown, while Malf's here is, I think, on a 5-second cooldown. So if there's the situation of a team fight, you have to have really good prioritization on what you want to heal as the Uther, because basically you have one Holy Light in a team fight. Maybe you get another one at the end, while Malf can easily get 2 or 3 times his regrowth onto his team, and that makes it a lot easier to re-engage as well.
Yeah, 100%. Alarak is picked up there. Alarak, I've gone off of a little bit. I think he's a very strong solo laner, but I find he's difficult to get real value of in fights on bigger maps like this. However, he should be okay getting some flanks with that Kerrigan on those shrine phases.
Yeah.
So, last chance to get your bets in, ladies and gentlemen, and so we'll close off the betting in a moment.
And we see basically quite the reversal of their draft on Battlefield of Eternity. Now they have 4 frontliners. 2 of them really, really aggressive with Kerrigan and Alarak, and even ETC is a tank that is especially good because he can dive really well with Power Slide going into the opponent, but he can also peel really well with face melt opponents from his backline away. And then you have still Uther going in there with them. Even though in this situation, if you have already 3 frontliners, I think in a lot of cases it is best for Uther to stay a little bit back, because Kalthas is on the other side, and you don't really help out your team by hitting something with your hammer, because your auto attack damage is basically not existent, and it makes it a lot easier for Kalthas to spread all his fiery love.
This is true. Living Bomb's going to get serious value in this game. So, game number 2, James Baker on the blue side there. Alchemy Blue playing Kalthas, Red Bucket on the Dahaka, Cosmo Boss on that Muradin, Matcha on the Malfurion, and a Runus on the Faustad.
And on the red side, being down 1 game, we have Big Lupu playing ETC, Dura playing Uther, Hail Frost is on Tychus, Nebet playing Kerrigan, and Alarak being played by Ravatar.
I really like Jaywalkers draft in this game, I have to say. I think it's very strong. I think the one question mark is going to be that Uther. I think perhaps even a Morales might have been better, but if Uther knows how to play Uther well, then why the hell not? Go for it. Comfort picks can work at this skill level. Very, very strong.
Yeah, definitely. One thing is that their draft gets a lot weaker once the opponent gets the level 10 picks as well. If you dive in and you suddenly have a Twilight Dream hitting your entire front line, you're in a whole lot of pain. So.
Oh yeah, Twilight Dream can get some serious value in this game. Kalthas not opting to go for that Convection build. That's interesting. I think it would have been an easier game to get stacks on it, but if you're not comfortable with those flame strikes, it's not worth doing, because if you can't get stacks, it's almost useless. Very nice route by the Malfurion with a beautiful hammer to follow up from the Faustad. Looks like that Kerrigan is going to die, as it does. Need to be careful, Veru, because you're going to die as well. 2 kills to none, 1 minute in the game. Nicely done by James Baker.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you don't want to have happen with this combo.
Yeah.
That your team basically dies in the early game. You're the team that wants to win the early game and have a level lead and level advantage to get into the later stages. So if the game continues this way, I think we could have actually a really quick one.
Absolutely. So the hacker is dropping low in the top there to that Alarak, but should be able to get away. He probably has some essence to use as well to heal, more than likely. As we have this first shrine popping up in that middle lane, we'll see what type it is. Kalfas needs to be careful how he goes up here, because he could get picked upon. Does manage to back away from the ETC. I expect to see them get on that shrine now, James Baker, whilst Jaywalkers are heading up slightly after, and it will be a Frost Punisher.
Yeah, I think Jaywalkers still want to get their level 4 talents, but as they just did now. So going in earlier would have been really, really hard for them, being down 1 talent, being the team that has to engage into the opponent, which is most of the time harder than just trying to defend.
Definitely a good option. However, Living Bomb is going to be... No, it wasn't spread. That was somebody to not spread it. However, the engage on the Dahaka there, and he is going to drop almost instantly. Moradin needs to be careful. He's going to have to jump out. However, with that second win, his health will be back up pretty sharpish. And Jaywalker's almost caught up already on that minion count. Very nicely done.
Yeah, we just see Keltha still trying to get some damage in there with his flame strike and so on. And on the bot side we see Muradin just escaping barely there, and the count of skeletons being equalized here.
It's very close on the skeletons here. They are having a bit of a fight in the bottom. Tyker's back away that Faustad as well. They need to be careful here. However, James Baker should be able to secure this shrine. No, Faustad does die. That's going to be difficult for them, especially with the Kalfas dead as well. They need 1 more minion, which they do get. They need to back off here, Jaywalkers, because you do not want to fight underneath the Punisher. However, if you kill the thing before the Punisher gets near you, that'll work as well.
Yeah. Nicely done by James Baker, I would say, securing the Punisher for themselves and now just spreading to the lanes to keep equal in the experience count, and in the end then team kills in Heroes of the Storm don't matter that much, as long as you're still even in experience and you get the objective to do some damage on the opponent's structures, you're basically still evil. Then the kills don't matter at all.
100%. Now we are seeing that level 7 is about to be reached by Jaywalkers. They have a slight lead in XP, not even half a level. They'll look to start picking up some camps. I expect James Baker will do the same very shortly. Faustad's zone just very safely soaking XP in that bottom lane, not showing himself. If you don't know where the enemy is, try not to show yourself. However, he does show himself and they may dive upon him. However, he does do the right thing and back off very safely. Muradin zoning out the rest of the team.
Yeah, one thing I'm a little bit worried about for the Jaywalkers is that in a lot of the team fights we already saw them basically calling a target and then all of the team moving in. And that is exactly what Kalthas basically wants you to do, because then he gets all of his damage. And as we already said...
Oh, ETC overextending, does manage to get away though.
Yeah, as we already said, the Uther does not have the potential to heal the team up after something like that. And then they might get the pick on the target, but James Baker might be able to just continue the fight 4v5, because the entire team is low for
Absolutely,
Jaywalkers.
we saw it after that Punisher as well, so they got, what was it, 4 kills, I think? And
yeah,
they weren't able to do much with it, A, because you're defending a Punisher, but B, because they were all so low and you just couldn't heal them up enough. Beautiful route by the Malfurion, stops the engage there by those 3 rotating Jaywalkers. Very nicely done by that Malf. His route's really on point. Oh, we're going to have a fly up to top there, trying to secure that Alarak kill. but was unable. Jaywalkers looking to get this bottom camp before the shrine starts. It shouldn't get too much value being near that bottom shrine, which is a mortar shrine.
Yeah, so basically the weakest Punisher.
Agreed.
Agreed by a lot of Heroes of the Storm players, because it is really, really easy to dodge the mortars, and then they just deal damage to the buildings, while the Arcane Punisher is a lot of zoning where you can't really attack him, and it's most of the time it's around the Arcane Punisher as well, so it gets really hard for your front line to attack the Arcane Punisher without taking damage.
James Baker unfortunately has made a bit of a mistake here, in that you let a Kerrigan comp get an early start on the shrine. It's been so difficult for him to take over the shrine and bang it a really high tick kill here. Fausted probably going to drop here also, but James Baker has no choice but to back off here.
Yeah, and that is basically what Jaywalkers wanted. They want to get early on the shrine, get the control over it, so that the opponent has to move into them, and then they have all their tools to just punish everyone who is trying to do that, because they have Kerrigan to pull them, and they have Alarak to pull them, and they have ETC to face melt them into their own team as well, and still the Uther stun. So a lot of CC once an opponent is in reach for them.
Baited over the wall instantly, that Punisher was. However, level 10's now on the side of Jaywalkers, which means they're going to easily get this fort down, because there's no way that James Baker will engage them whilst they've got those ultimates. Looking Divine Shield, Stage Dive, Laser Drill, Maelstrom, and Counter Strike, all very standard there. And Twilight Dream, Gust, Phoenix, Bowser, be careful. Haymaker, Haymaker instead of Avatar, that's an odd choice.
Yeah, but we also see the adaptation on Dehaka, so they basically changed the role of Muradin being the target that is basically unkillable, to Dehaka having this time where he is really, really hard to kill. And this allows Muradin to get the
jump in the back line, knock everybody back. We're going to have an engage on this camp. Oh, this is going to end badly for that Fausted. I can feel it. He's going to... No, he's going the right way around. Oh, this is going to be so bad for James Baker. They need to back off here. That mouth is going to die very hard, unfortunately. The Muradin does manage to get away. However, Fausted doing a huge amount of damage there. Does manage to kill the Kerrigan. They are getting a lot of counter kills here. Uther dies as well. Looks like they're going to secure the kill on the Tigers also. Oh no, the Tigers said going, getting the kill on the Fausted. Let me know where the Tigers are. No idea how he did that then. That was impressively done. Getting the kill on Dehaka. Very nicely done there by
I think it was
the
Uther, the ghost that won them the team fight in the end.
Of course, yes.
Because
Uther can carry on healing, yes. I haven't played against Uther for so long, I was completely forgotten about that.
Sometimes it's better to let the Uther live because he can't do anything while he is alive and everything is on CD, but this way he had a lot of healing and I think he kept both, and either it was ETC or Alarak, somebody alive, and then in the end he kept the ETC alive, the Tigers alive, and from being in a horrible situation after killing the Mephiran and it being a 4 versus 3, they actually turned it around and got 2 more kills. And
very nicely
paid
done
off.
There. So level 13 advantage for Jaywalkers, and they have a little bit of a structure advantage, however not that much structures down so far, just a 1 fort so far. And they're letting the Kerrigan comp get started on the shrine. Unfortunately, I don't blame me, because against that level 13, you kind of want to soak the level 13 before you engage. Hopefully this mid-wave will be enough to get it. ETC is looking for a power slide on someone when they overextend though. Look out, Kael'thas, and power slide over. So look to see the Muradin get in and try and haymaker someone out. Unless, no, they're probably just going to give it up at this point. They were way too far ahead on those shrine minions there.
But Dehaka is getting a lot of value in the bot lane, pushing it for them and soaking the experience, while the Jaywalkers basically 5-man the shrine.
Nice bait of that Punisher over the wall. Getting the brand down pretty quickly. Laser is doing some damage there though. and they are starting to back off because they don't want to have a fight underneath that Punisher. Arcane Punisher, obviously the best Punisher because it does so much damage. And that's another fault down for Jaywalkers.
Yeah.
Very nicely done so far.
Yeah, after a little bit of early game struggles where they maybe just had to find a way with their composition, now they're in a really good position. And
ooh, ETC getting ambushed in the top here. However, the tongue was used on the minion instead of ETC, so he may just get away here. And he does.
Yeah,
Faustad,
well done
you
by
need
him.
to go away. Back off, Faustad. There you go. That's good, Faustad.
And we see that ETC and Ether already finished their quests.
Ooh, nice power slide there on the Muradin though, however Gust for that disengage.
Yeah, and that means that Kael'thas, on the other hand, has only basically half done his Mana Addict quest. So he already was only able to secure 10 region globes, while Ether already has more than 25 secured.
Yeah, it's pretty nicely done there by the side of Jamie, who was really farming those globes a lot more efficiently.
Yeah.
James Baker needs to do something about either getting a kill before the shrine phase, or they need to get on that shrine before the opposing team, because going onto the shrine after Jaywalkers just isn't happening. So they need to either look to get a kill now, or try and get on that shrine a bit before the other team. However, yep, Jaywalkers probably going to have level 16 before the opposing team. And yes, you're right, it should be 1-0 to James Baker. Let me just fix that real quick.
Oh, it is the top shrine getting active, so exactly the on the other side of the map for Jaywalkers, who just went to the bottom. But on the other hand, that means that they can have their mercenary camps pushing the other side of the lane or map while they are going up to the shrine.
Which means you're going to get a lot of value, and they're getting that bottom, that mid camp as well. So you're going to get a lot of pressure from those two camps.
Yeah, and I think they don't actually have
to.
to.
The hacker. Can he get away? I don't think he can. I think he's going to die here. Yeah,
yes,
and the telekinesis pull.
Yeah.
And they're going to probably just push this wall.
Yeah, I like the choice. I think it was a really nice choice of them not to go up and try to fight for the shrine, because they still had the fort on the top. So even though it is just gone right now...
They're going to go for keep as well.
Yeah, they're trying.
I think they can probably do it as well. There's only 2 people that have come back to defend, and now the mouth coming in also, but they're probably going to get this keep now.
Yeah, and the laser is still doing a lot of damage in the back. They still are trying.
Oh, Tychus needs to be careful though. Very nicely timed Divine Shield, securing Tychus' life. And that keep does still have a little bit of damage. Faustin needs to be careful. He's gonna get... No!
That was a really close one.
Don't do that, boys and girls. Try and fly from a safe point. The hacker does get comboed in. However, a lot of damage being done onto the team of Jaywalkers there. They're all very low, and that Punisher has been popped up. So, Muradin coming in. Looks like they're going to try and get an engage here. Lots of damage being popped out. Big Loopy dropping low on that ATC. Kerrigan drops low and dies. Might secure the kill on the Alaric. They might finish here. If they all head top with that Punisher, it's got 86% health left.
Yeah, especially with the Tychus now also dying, maybe? He's still on the run.
I don't know if I would have done
Probably
this.
the minigun.
I don't know if getting those kills was that worth it, because now the hacker's dead. ETC's probably going to back away, when they probably should have just pushed with that Punisher and won. Oh, that's a tough choice.
They were in a good position because both of the heavy pressure of Kerrigan and Alarak were already gone, and now they are back soon. And
however, if they get another kill here, they can absolutely still finish. Without an extra kill, it's probably going to be difficult, but one more kill, they can do it. However, that Punisher is still very low. They're probably going to back off now, because for the first time since I can remember in the game, they've actually got an XP lead.
Yeah.
And a structure lead as well. Well, kind of a structure lead. They have that keep down, which means they have a path to victory if they get a good team fight.
Yeah,
and they're going to get the fort down here as well. They should back
They
safely.
still have more buildings that they can kill, so they have a lot of experience left in the buildings, and that might allow them to win the race.
That's
for
very true. It's
level 20.
stored XP as well, effectively, that point.
Yeah. That's sometimes a really interesting thing in Heroes, where a team is behind a lot of the time, but gets a lot of XP for the kills because they are behind. And then once they win a team fight and are able to get the map pressure and get a lot of the forts that their opponents got in the early game, they oftentimes secure a 1 or 2 level lead because of that.
Absolutely. Both teams get the camps in the opposite lanes to each other. It looks like they're going to push this bottom port as well, potentially, on the side of James Baker. They're probably waiting to see where the Jaywalkers are, though, because they haven't shown on the map in a while. Now that they've popped that shrine, they know, so they can pop down and put that damage onto that port. They do need to be very careful there, though, so they don't get flanked by Jaywalkers. The last thing you want now is to have a 5v4 team fight. And they are backing, very sensible. Muradin zoning out, making sure everybody's away, then he backs away nice and safely. Nicely done there by the team of James Baker.
Yeah, and they might be in a position where they're able to secure the level 20 for the next shrine. That should come up in the next minute or something like that. So but they have enough experience now. They can definitely secure the shrine and then move in with level 20. While on the other hand, the Jaywalkers of course want to get as big as a lead before their opponent reaches level 20, or they might even have to disengage completely, because fighting level 19 versus 20 is one of the worst fights you can ever take in Heroes of the Storm.
Absolutely. Now, the Hacker has cleared that lane top, so that is going to have some serious pressure. However, the team of Jaywalkers are pushing that bot. No, they're backing.
But now they're in a really horrible position, because their opponent is on the shrine and they have to move into the shrine from behind, basically. So they don't have a really good retreat line.
Oh, ETC needs to be careful there. However, that Kerrigan's diving in very deeply onto that Malfurion. Ultimates are being popped left and right. Kerrigan needs to be careful. Everybody dropping low. The Hacker's probably going to die here. Gust has been used. The Kerrigan drops also. However, I'd say his team fight's going inside of James Baker though, because they're going to have the superior healing here. However, no, they are having to back. Oh, Muradin needs to... Muradin may die. No, he's just going to get away. However, James Baker is still doing that shrine. They're still getting some of those things now. They need to be very careful there. As Phoenix has been popped also, and Faustad's now back to get some more engaged. Muradin jumps in.
Level 20, and that might come in to bite them right now.
That kill's very nice. If that Muradin gets away with that dying there, as he does, Faustad needs to be careful. That's game. Surely that's game. They'll kill the Uther here.
And
Kill
the Jaywalkers, the Jaywalkers are still missing their level 20, so that was the big problem for them. And now they actually have 2 catapults pushing top, so ETC has to basically go back and defend there.
And it's before Uther has that level 20 where he comes back to life as well. They are playing it safely though, which I don't blame. They don't want to throw it. Leaving the shrine, but they're waiting until everybody's back, everybody's ready, and then I expect Faustad to quickly finish off that shrine and then be back and then fly back. No, they're really delaying. I don't get why. Why aren't you getting a shrine now whilst everybody's dead?
Yeah, that's I understand the idea of healing up your team, but this way you're now the entire team of Jaywalkers is back.
They should have activated it already. They should have finished off that shrine already, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because this way they delayed it for something like 20 or even more seconds, so they could have easily taken out the front wall before the opponent's team even reaches them. So this way they have to be really confident that they can win the team fight once more with level 20 versus 20, all ultimates up, so basically the fairest fight you will ever have in Heroes.
Exactly, but this is such a dangerous team fight for both teams. However, obviously James Baker do have having that Punisher there, which is distracting a whole lot of attention.
Yeah, and already the laser for Tigers is down, so it's 4 ult, so it's 5 still up.
Very quickly, looks like they're going to get the kill. Oh, Divine Shield beautifully used there. Muradin needs to be careful. However, a gust back in to the team. Twilight Dream has been popped. Alarak is very low, as is the Kerrigan. Kerrigan dies. Everybody's super low still on James Baker. This should be enough for them to finish. They're going to confirm the kill on Vatikus. He won't be able to get away. And they should be able to finish here.
Ether dies another time, and
yeah, double Uther deaths, full value. As game number 2 goes on the side of James Baker. That was a series and a half.
Yep.
Oh, what a game.